seen already the Earth sphere, now we move on to the nature of scientific inquiry. So the scientific method is the process by which researchers gather through observations and they formulate hypotheses based on this gathering of data and through observations. These hypotheses are later tested and are either discarded or made into theories. So these theories could be found to be laws or simply remain theories depending on the nature of them. So data collection is absolutely key. It is through data collection and overall observation and measurements that we are able to come up with more elaborate ideas about the world. Because error is inevitable, as you may know, as humans know. The accuracy of a particular measurement or method used is always open to question and refinement, but it is a great starting point initially to just get some data out there. So, in fact, many projects and their failures come up from this step, from their data collection, because it's incorrect. A hypothesis, which is the second part that comes into place, is a tentative or untested explanation that arises from initial observation or initial formulations about the natural phenomenon, okay? So it's a tentative or untested explanation that comes from observation, all right? Definitely make sure you understand that. Usually, these hypothesis is the best answer, usually it is best if an investigator can formulate more than one hypothesis to the natural phenomenon at hand, the one that he or she is trying to understand. Many times other researchers will come up with alternate explanations, so alternate hypotheses, which usually causes many discussions in the scientific community. And it drives researchers to better their techniques, their data collection, their analysis of what they have observed and measured, and also their interpretations based on these data collection that they made, or the data that they obtained. So hypotheses must be able to be tested based on prediction and using objective observations of nature. Otherwise, they are useless. So many times it is hypotheses that, have been born and then they die out because they cannot be tested through constant objective observation of nature. So if a hypothesis is tested to be right, it goes on to be, tested to be right under any circumstance pretty much through observations of nature, it ends up being a theory. So a theory is very different from what we colloquially say is a theory. So for example, if I say, I think that bread makes you fat, that's just a theory in colloquial speech. But if we were to test this as a hypothesis and it was proven that bread makes you fat, then it would be a theory. Because it's proven without a doubt that it occurs that way all the time, based on observation of the natural world. But in science, really, theory is going to be a well-tested and, again, highly acceptable view that the scientific community agrees best explains that certain observable fact. So, based on my idea of bread making you fat, what would need to happen, again, that's just a hypothesis, is that we would need to just have people eat bread, perhaps, and only eat a certain amount of it. And if we see that bread actually makes all of these people that are eating it fat, then it could be proven as a theory, or that's the idea of the process, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so once a theory is proven to be correct under any circumstance and under any time span, so in the future, it is told to be a law. So a law is going to be a theory that is tested and will test out the same always, regardless of the case. Okay, so the example that they give you here in this diagram on the left is the following. So the fact that they give you is that cats purr, or that it is bright outside. So those are two different facts that are simply stated. Those are observations. The hypotheses that are made based on both of those observations is that first, cats are robots because they purr, or that the sun is up because it is bright outside. So those are just hypotheses based on both of those observations. The theory that is behind those hypotheses is the theory of evolution. So that is why cats purr in truth, not that they are robots. So there must have been another hypothesis before that theory came into place, right? So you get the idea of how this goes. So after we have a hypothesis, again, a tentative explanation, and we tested one after another time, and we have, again, objective observations being tested based on natural phenomena, and they be tested properly, and that the hypothesis is tested right, then that becomes a theory, okay? And once this theory is tested to have happened under any circumstance and always happen the same way, then it becomes a law.